Okay, folks, Coach Patrick. What's up, folks? Coach Patrick here. So we are back with the race preparation phase. This is the phase you've been waiting for. You wanted to start training for your race right away, and I made you wait. I made you go through preparation, and then out season, and then specificity. You're like, dear Lord above, put me in this race prep phase. And here we are. We're ready to go. Now, the race prep phase is what you would consider to be the most important of your season. And many people think about it as the composition of a great deal of workouts designed to get you ready for the day. So now if you're doing a marathon, now you get the long runs. If you're doing a fondo, here come those long rides. If you're doing a triathlon, like here come those big brick workouts, like awesome, 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 right? All the things you've been wanting to do, all the things you read about what it means to be the athlete that you've envisioned being, it's here, right? You finally have that synchronicity between that internal dialogue and the external expression of that dialogue in your fitness, which is great. But the key part here for me is not just the workouts. It's also the learning that happens during these workouts, because race day is essentially an expression of your ability to put together a good race. And that is the combination of fitness and execution. You can be super strong, you can be super tapered, you can be ready to go. But if you race like a bonehead, if you race like you've never met yourself before, if you race like it's someone else's bike or these are someone else's shoes or someone else's legs, you are going to have a miserable day. And we measure our years as athletes by races. And we measure our races by how we do. And how we do isn't necessarily a function of just how fast I was or did I beat my personal best from before. It's did I put together a good race? That's our measure inside Endurance Station. So you consider yourself fast, intermediate, or slow, you can still have a great race and have a slow race, right? Maybe a terrible day out there, snow, hail, ice, cold temperatures, whatever. You may not hit your personal best, but you can have a great performance relative to the situation, relative to the competition. It all starts with the knowledge and being able to put together a good race. And that is effectively what we're doing here in this race preparation phase. We are taking your fitness that you've built all year, we're putting it into play into discrete scenarios every single week, long runs, long rides, long swims, or all of them in some flavor, that are designed to help you test your fitness and build some fluency and experience with what it means to be working at that rate, what it means to be fueling at that rate, what it means to pace yourself at that rate, what it means to be inside your own head for a couple hours at that rate of exertion. All of that comes together now. So when we get out there on race day, and you're at hour 3 and things are tough, you can say, it's okay. I've been here before. I know what is going to happen now. I have a plan for what I want to do next. I know exactly the order in which I should be acting. Not to say that you'll map out the entire race day, but our intent with the race preparation phase is equal parts work on the physical side and the mental side. So don't delude yourself to thinking, finally I get to turn off all these videos and all this learning and just train, baby, train. That's not how we roll inside Endurance Nation, in case you didn't know it by now. I need you to be just as smart as you are strong. And that still happens here in that race preparation phase. So we kick things off with a sweat test, which I strongly recommend you do. Every year, your nutritional needs change based off of your efforts and your goals and the race that you're doing. We'd start off with a sweat test so we can dial in the nutrition and practice it over the course of the next 12 weeks leading into your big day. We will do some benchmark testing along the way, but it's much more associated with longer efforts like race simulations, long work. So if you haven't tested recently, you don't have good threshold numbers for your sport or sports of choice, now's the time to do it in that first week. The weekends should be yours. You should hopefully be able to, having been really smart about your time and followed Endurance Nation plans all season, you should be able to block out some time for some of these key weekend workouts. You'll see not only the general weekend structure, but you'll also see a broader weekend structure that involves intensity and volume, where we'll say, hey, we're going to do a race rehearsal weekend, or we're going to do a big camp weekend, or we're going to do an overbiking day, like a huge big bike day. All of those options exist in your training plan depending on the level plan you're in, and level workouts you're doing, and the discipline or focus of your season. Those workouts are in there. So we'll do some additional peak volume. We'll do some strategic race simulations where we'll test out our plan and put it into play. All of that happens now in the out season, which is really, really important. And it's easy to lose sight of that because people want to just focus on that race. So like, race day is this day, whatever I'm doing today, but race day, whatever. Yeah, sure, coach, swim, but race day. All of these individual workouts are really important to build your confidence, your fitness, and your knowledge as you go. At the end of every week, you'll see that we have a recap, a check-in, a weekly check-in. On Sundays, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what worked this week, what didn't. Even the mundane things that happen with your week still matter because there's nuggets of information about you and how you're handling the training and how you're being affected by the workload that are going to determine how we advise you to be racing on the big day. So the more you put into those recaps for us, the more we can give to you as coaches. So super important that you take the time to do just that. Now, some of you will ask, Coach, but there's this preparation period. There's a 4-week block before I do the 12-week plan. What's that all about? That's a new product for us that we put into place because some folks needed more time to build up volume in season. This is great for people who are either on the beginner level or first-time racers or coming back from a long time off who need the opportunity to build up some volume specific to their race, but without the build that goes directly into the race itself. So rather than starting 12 weeks out and really feeling good at 7 weeks to go, which is not a great place to be, I can start you at 16 weeks out and have you feeling good, ready to go at 13. And we can go from there into our race prep plan. So depending on your ability, depending on your focus, depending on the need for volume of your event, you may have one of these 4-week prep plans in place as a complement to the 12-week race prep plan that we traditionally have. During this time, we'll be asking you to do some homework, as I mentioned earlier, from not only recapping every week, but also creating race plans. For those of you on the team or at coach level, I strongly encourage you to communicate with your fellow teammates about this. You'll be going through a training plan for a race that most likely other people are doing. You can share workouts, share feedback, share knowledge. All of that happens in the forums or in our social group me chats. You can do all of that there and learn from their experiences and also be motivated by them and give back. Do some leading of your own so they can also share your mojo and keep them rolling to the event where hopefully you'll be able to meet up on the big day. The race prep period ultimately is a ton of fun, but it does have one evil part, and that is the race prep period must come to an end. We must taper, and the taper is the least favorite part of any endurance athlete. Nobody tapers well. Some people rest well, some people chill well, but chilling before a big race or resting before a big race is mentally draining. It's super, super tough. So I strongly encourage you to reach out to me, to your teammates, etc. as you navigate this taper phase. Our goal is to have you be strong based off of all the work you've done this season, but still have an opportunity for you to absorb that work so you're ready to be your best on race day. How you absorb that work changes from year to year, changes on your event type, changes on your experience, your current fitness when you started the program. There's a lot of nuanced variables in there. So this is a high time for communication. We want to make sure you're all ready to go. Not to mention really paying attention to all the details, because if you don't have a good fuel solution, you're going to have to get some stuff. If you don't have a good setup on the bike, you're going to need that. If your run shoes you found out are just out of it, you're going to have to buy some new run shoes. So it's a high attention zone just as much as it is a high effort zone. It's also super rewarding for me as a coach because it's great to see people finally putting into play the great fitness they built all year and all that knowledge they have developed about themselves into place on a course. You'll see resources from us about your event in the resource racing area of our website. You'll also see some live events depending on whether or not that race is a key race for us this season that you can join in a webinar format and connect with me and ask your questions alongside your teammates to make sure that you're 100% ready. We also have race execution guidance depending on the race you're doing. We actually have broken out not only checklists and resources for you to travel with, but actual detailed race plan templates for you to use to help eliminate the need for you to create things from scratch, and you can build off the best practices that we as a team has developed over the years. It's a really important time of year and super fun. So I hope you are enjoying it as stressful as it is, that you're enjoying building up and that you have a fantastic taper and you're ready to crush it on the big day according to the guidance for your event. I'll be back soon, folks. Thanks, and I hope you're as excited as I am.